Welcome, everyone. This is Kulma Hay, and this is the first in a series of chats that I'm having with some incredible people. So many of you will know that I have a podcast now called Human Centered Leadership Podcast, but we have launched a new podcast called Create and Speak Podcast. So the audio from this will also go on to Create and Speak Podcast. So you can listen in again, and we will share the link for that later on. But really, this podcast is all about public speaking and leadership communications. Now, when I talk about public speaking, automatically, obviously, and why would you not, you automatically assume that it's about standing on stages, doing presentations. And yes, it is. It is about that. But for me, it's far more than just that. 4 years ago, we launched Create and Speak, the older version of our 2-day intensive public speaking program, Create and Speak. And we had a number of graduates came through. These were leaders from corporate organizations who decided that it was about time that they took charge of their fears around public speaking, to learn some skills around public speaking, and also business owners and individuals who just wanted to grow. So that's sort of where where the whole concept of Create and Speak came from. And then, of course, lockdown happened and we couldn't do these courses anymore. So I took that opportunity of revamping the program entirely. And so now Create and Speak is a much more intense 2-day experience, face-to-face experience, that is. And at the end of it all, now it's been validated by 2 external organizations, both CPD and now the Institute Leadership Management. I'm super excited because I'm passionate about leadership. And what I'm particularly excited about is that Institute Leadership Management have supported this, and anybody who comes through the program successfully goes on to get accreditation and also membership of the Institute, and also access to like over 400 hours worth of leadership development content. That sort of plays into my values, because I always want to be growing myself all the time, and I want anybody who interacts with our organization to be growing all the time too. So the fact that people are getting 400 hours worth of leadership development content is just fantastic for me. So I thought it'd be a really, really good idea to actually reach out to past graduates. Even though they didn't get the accreditations, they went through a very, very similar format, even though it's been improved upon. Because I'm curious. I don't know about you. I'm constantly curious about, the clients that have come into our lives, the clients that we've supported, the clients that we've helped to develop these skills. Where are they now? So that's always like really at the back of my mind. And the first of our past graduates is the incredible Jude Huff. I have been watching Jude. I am a very, very nosy person. If I always say that once you interact with us as a client, I'm always going to be watching you wherever you are. But Jude has done some incredible work. So Jude is a social media whiz. She has grown successful businesses on social media. She has a following of more than 68,000 followers. She's active largely, I think, on Facebook and Instagram, isn't it, Jude? But you've done some amazing
TikTok.
work. And TikTok, of course.
I'm a TikTok freak.
Yeah. I've seen some of your TikTok videos, and I don't know how you do those videos. I'm always quite nervous of TikTok. I don't know whether it's an age thing or whether I feel a bit boring. But you add some pizzazz to the whole TikTok, so I'm going to learn something from you too. So tell me, how did your social media sort of journey develop, and how's public speaking played a part in that?
So I've run my own businesses for a few years, and we were quite active on social media in a prior business, but it was very formal. So we always took a real corporate stance. So we were quite scared of saying anything controversial or giving our own personality or opinion to the brand. We sort of kept it very vanilla. And there was a reason for that. We were in a business that we were trying to sell on, and we didn't want to upset potential buyers, but also I just don't think we were brave enough to sort of grasp the nettle of the issue. And that issue at the time for me was potty training. I'd invented a product with my business partner. We'd taken it all around the UK supermarkets. We were in America with it. But I think one of the reasons we maybe missed a trick and didn't end up selling out for gazillions to Procter and Gamble, was probably because although the brand was brilliant, it did lack that extra piece of personality. And I think that was because we hid behind the brand. So you'd never really see me or my business partners standing up and talking about the some of the more controversial parts of potty training, which for potty training is that parents actually have to do it. So there isn't a magic product, you know, that sort of stuff, which causes a lot of anger in the parenting community for some reason. Anyway, so yeah, so we hid behind that, and we did really well, and we had lots of followers. And then that came to a close, and I came on your course, and I didn't really know why I was coming on your course. I'd met Sue Sims because I was doing a coaching course, and she'd said, this course will change your life, go on the Create and Speak course. And I sort of instinctively thought it might be a good course skill. I don't mind standing up in front of people that I don't know. I'm rubbish at standing up in front of people I do know. And I knew I had this sort of barrier where I had lots of things I wanted to say, but I didn't quite know how to say them because I'd been hiding behind this sort of corporate thing. Yeah. So I came on your course, and that sparked a massive change for me with my social media, really. Like instantly after that course, things changed for me very quickly because you gave me a voice, which I think is what you did. And I think the course, you probably ask me more about this later on, so I'm probably jumping forward, is interesting because you go and you think, oh, I've got to create a speech in this course. What am I going to create? But you make that very easy because it actually becomes about your journey, for want of a better word. So, and you give us a tool that helps us weave a speech that you could wheel out the box at any event and adapt. So really, you got us to create the story of our sort of personal journey that resonated with what we were doing. And that's a very powerful thing, to stand up there and take ownership of why you're in the space you're in at the age you're at, and, you know, standing up in front of a room of people, you know, trying to explain yourself. And that was the transformation piece for me.
And you know, this whole concept of telling a story, you know, Jude, I think storytelling is so critical in any kind of communication. And it matters not whether it's, you know, I don't know, if you go to a church on a Sunday, the Bible is full of stories. And if you go into any of the religious establishment, full of stories. We are hardwired literally to learn from stories, right back down to caveman days where we used to paint things on the walls. But I think stories are more than just, and you've sort of touched upon this, they are more than just speaking. It's not about just orally telling a story. Therefore, it's not just about standing on a stage, but you can tell your stories and build a rapport and a bridge of trust, as I always say, with the audience through writing. And that's what you do. And you do it so well, because I've looked at some of the copy, as they call it, that you've put out there on social media, and I resonate with it, possibly because I already know you and I know what great person you are. But if I didn't know you, I'm sure I would still be connected to you because of the stories that you tell.
I think when I had a lingerie business, which was, the timing of which was absolutely horrific, because I bought it 3 months before lockdown, so that was doomed. But actually during lockdown, I grew my social media following massively, and that's when I went on TikTok. I realized that there were lots of people with, before that it was Musical.ly, wasn't it? And my kids had that, and they'd all been singing and doing all that stuff. So it was, TikTok was a bit of a joke. And then in lockdown, it became like everyone's sort of secret guilty pleasure. And then you got all these celebs on there, and you got people with money on there, and they sort of didn't leave. They sort of stayed watching after lockdown. And so I went on to TikTok, and I started creating TikToks, and I used it as a way of explaining lingerie, actually, like how to fit yourself for lingerie, how to wear. And those videos went viral. I've got one that had 188,000 views, and it's such a simple concept. I'm just explaining something about lingerie that is obvious if you're in the business, but you wouldn't know if you weren't. And the thing about TikTok is it's not a perfect platform. So Instagram is like this shiny grid of like fake lifestyle pictures. I think there's pressure, even when you're failing on Instagram, there's pressure to fail beautifully, I feel. Whereas TikTok, they quite like you just failing, and they'll laugh with you, and you don't have to do it very elegantly. So you don't have to have all the best lighting. They don't have to be, they're not held in beautiful pictures on a grid. People are straight into the TikToks when they swipe, and I think, you know, that's the beauty of TikTok, and that's why I like it. And interestingly, the click-throughs of TikTok were the best of any social media platform. So more engaged than you realise.
And the one thing that I've learned about TikTok, now there are two types of TikTok account holders, as I see them. There the people like you who have the courage to go and post, and then there are people like me who, in my downtime, I just love scrolling through TikTok and watching some of these like very short. I like the humorous videos. But what I've learned is this one thing, one thing that sort of used to put me off from using TikTok was that I see the incredible videos that people put and the special effects that they use and the different video angles. And I'm thinking, goodness gracious, you almost need to be Steven Spielberg to use TikTok properly. But then I realized one thing. There are many, many people on TikTok who literally just talk to the camera, tell a powerful story with powerful content, and they are still getting the views, still getting that connectivity, that rapport with their audience. And I've tried it and it does work. So again, like you say, you don't have to be all showy on TikTok. You just put out powerful content and build an authentic link connection between you and the audience. And that must be the same when you got onto Facebook, because Facebook is also, a community building kind of social media platform. What was your experience there?
Yeah, I find Facebook quite clunky, and I think it's of a generation, and I think we are in the generation that uses Facebook quite well, because we probably were on Friends Reunited, then went into the metaverse as it now is, and we've grown with it. But it isn't an easy app, and you won't find many youngsters on it. So, my daughter laughs her head off at the idea of being on Facebook. She's on Snapchat and God knows what. And because it's clunky, it's not an easy app.
Yeah.
And all the background to it, it's like I think it's very representative of American technology. There's just layers and layers now of bureaucracy to get through. Anyway, the point is about Facebook, it is great for communities. It is, if you want to start a group, you are going to get loads of engagements, and you can very much target a subject matter and draw people towards you, and using the pages and your own sort of net worth, if you like. But I always encourage people to use their own profiles initially, because people make contacts with people. People know that businesses are businesses on Facebook. You have to spend money as a Facebook business to get much reach. And really, lots of stuff is still done in groups. And I still like Facebook, but I do think even the creation of Reels is hard in Facebook. It's so easy on Instagram and TikTok. So I think that's the Facebook challenge. I think it is a sort of hard to keep up with technology, actually.
And it's true that each one of these platforms has a different way of being, but the one consistent thing, and my favorite platform obviously is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where I am, I would say 90% of the time. I literally love everything that LinkedIn does. It comes out with new features all the time. Excuse me. We just got into newsletters just now, and I'm getting some real traction on these newsletters. It gives me an opportunity to speak to my connections on LinkedIn. I've built some incredible relationships. But the one thing that's consistent across all of these social media brands, and you've proved it, is this ability to build a connection. And again, like you say, each social media platform is different, and therefore you need to know and be able to speak the language of the people on that particular social media platform. But you've gone way beyond just social media as well. I remember that after you came on the program, we had got our annual event coming up, Ignite Your Potential event, which is a motivational event, inner leadership event that we held once a year before COVID. We still have to, revive that. Hopefully 2024 will be the year when that comes back. But you were chosen by us to be one of the speakers in front of, I think it was 350 people, telling your story, delivering some content, and sharing some learning. How did you ever perceive that you would ever be on a stage as big as that?
Firstly. No, I'm quite a competitive person. So when you put the challenge out there was no way that was slipping through my fingers. And we had to do a series of things on social media, didn't we, to get selected from your prior graduates. And I was absolutely terrified, actually, because my big thing was I'm going to forget my words, standing in front of all these people. And I can blag it, but I didn't want to blag it because you taught us such a great technique. I wanted to do it the way you taught us to do it. And but the clever thing about the way you teach is you use physical prompts on the stage. So I didn't have to worry. I didn't take none of us who come through your course end up with notes. We all end up it's not even committing to memory. It's like you own the story so much. It is
Absolutely.
easy to take yourself back to a space where you remember it and even adapt it for the audience. And you do it using physical prompts. So as we move across the stage, it signifies a certain part of the story that we're telling. And it's really clever. And as you move from left to right across the stage, or right to left, whichever way around it was, as you're bringing the story to the future and the present day, really powerful. And actually, once I was on the stage, it was like muscle memory. Everything you taught us, in those very intensive 2 days, just came back to me. And it was all right. I don't remember a word of the speech. It's only when I look back at your photos. So I did just go into autopilot. But yeah, and it is quite terrifying standing up in front of a load of people. And also because we wanted, I know for all of us, we wanted to do you proud. You spent a lot of time and effort personally. It wasn't just a course. You were personally invested in us. We've all, like you say, it's a community. We all keep in touch across social media and watch what we're all doing. So we all wanted to do you proud, So that was like an extra layer of pressure. It wasn't something I could just run away from and pretend it was okay. I knew you were going to follow me afterwards and, berate me if it was awful. Not really. You wouldn't do that.
But you know what?
Yeah, so there's that pressure.
You got some excellent feedback after having been on the stage, and I always say, I can only go so far, but at the end of the day, it's the application of the work that you have to put in to get you to where you are. And part of that is overcoming this fear, this apprehension, this anxiety, or whatever it might be. But Jude, I'm going to continue to watch your journey. I think you've done amazingly well. I think you've got a lot yet to bring into this world, and you'll be telling a lot more powerful stories going forward. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to find out more about our brand new 2-day public speaking leadership communication program, we are launching it for the first time on the 4th and 5th of March in Derby. We are looking for beta testers. So what does that mean? Well, I literally just want to test myself on the delivery of this new program. Yes, it's got validation, certifications, accreditation from the Institute Leadership Management, and of course the CPD. But I want to test myself because this will be the first time I'm running the program from a public-facing scenario. We've already been booked to deliver the program to a couple of corporates in the country, in the UK, but I want to be able to deliver this to private clients. So if you are interested. And what does being a beta tester mean? Well, basically, it means you get a massive 75% off the normal price. But we want as many people there as possible. I want to test myself. I want to test the depth and the power of the content that we're delivering. And I want to create some incredible communicators coming from here. So if you want to know any further information about this or want to book onto the beta tester program, just you've got the website there, www.createandspeak.co.uk. We look forward to seeing you there. Jude, thank you so much. Good luck in everything that you do. And I look forward to catching up with you soon. All the best.
Yeah, pleasure.